In this DVD, we're exploring also the kodachi techniques of kenjutsu, and the kodachi meaning obviously the short sword. And this will be pair drilled, pairing a shitachi with a short sword and uchitachi with a long sword. This is called inshu, and we start by moving to the chudan position, and then uchitachi moves into a hasso position. And once again, these would start about 10 paces apart, but due to space limitations here in the studio, we're starting much closer. We would normally start 10 paces, go to chudan, then uchitachi would step to hasso, and we would be in a gate-on position for shitachi. Close the distance, and as we close the distance, uchitachi begins to feel that he can strike, and he starts to come in with a strike, and as he does that, shitachi comes up in a blocking position with the kodachi. So I realize that I've got to almost perform a kiritsuke here, just touching, because he's countered my attack. Once he's countered my attack, I'm going to try and pull back, readjust to cut in. And as we do that, because he has the short sword, he's going to move an attention motion to the side and cut to my left kote. I pull back once again to escape, and then I cut to his head one more time. And he performs a horizontal overhead block. He pushes to the side in a surikomi type fashion and then comes in right to my throat. I step back, lower the sword to a neutral position, and we separate to 10 paces. If this were our final kumitachi, we would then perform noto. Inshu.
Hey! Hey! Hey!
Inshu.
Hey! Hey!
This kumitachi is known as Ukenagashi, and it's imperative that you pay attention to shitachi's sliding block. He's receiving the block. That's the uke part. Nagashi means to flow. So he'll use the kodachi, as in the other portions of this DVD, to slip my attack, move to the side, and then cut. We start 10 paces apart, and we draw the sword. And then uchitachi moves to hasso no komai. Shitachi moves to a gate-on position. We'll close the 10 spaces, and as I get close, I start to feel like I'm within kirima, cutting distance. His sword is lowered, so uchitachi feels that he has the opportunity to make the attack. As he does, he performs in a rimi tenshin motion, and then slips the sword and cuts to the kote. So I step in. The left foot moves across diagonally off the line. Notice Sensei's hand is in a position to keep me from turning to the side. He moves around my cut as I move through, pinning my hand and my body, taking my balance point, my kuzushi, and then cutting to the face. I have to try to escape this by moving backward, directly away, and then lowering the sword to a neutral position. We move back to the 10 paces to our beginning position, extend the sword, and then finish with your noto. Ukenagashi.
Hey! Hey!
Ukenagashi.
Hey! Hey!
In this segment, we're going to explore more of the strategy of the short sword against the long sword. This is called Skidi, and we're going to try and, Shitachi is going to try and thrust through the center line and prompt Uchitachi to cut. And that way, he'll open me up for an attack to my right kote. So we start 10 paces apart, draw the sword, and then Uchitachi moves to Hasso no Kamae. Notice that once again, Hasso, the sword is about mid-level of the face. And I know that my distance is going to be correct according to where on his body my sword is pointing as we get close. Back here, I'm too far away. I'm pointing at the floor. As I get closer, I know that I'm within cutting distance. So from this position, he starts to come into thrust, and I cut to his kote here. As I do, he pulls back, which opens up my center line. I do a kiritsuke here to stop, but by that time, he's entering to the backside and cutting my kote. Then thrusting, I receive that technique. I lower the sword, turn back to the front, and go to a neutral position. Stepping back, move back 10 paces to your original starting position. Shura no kamae. And if this were your last, then perform noto. Skidashi.
Hey! Hey!
Skidashi.
Hey! Hey!
In this kata, called miyuke dome, The kodachi performs 3 blocking techniques, and so he's stopping my attack with three separate blocks using the kodachi, then slips inside to finish uchitachi. So the thing to be very cautious of is controlling. He wants to control the center line by not moving tension, but straight back and just using his body to perform the blocking technique. And then